Now, your Skyhawk can't get above flight level 240, even if it wanted to. But when you move up to a citation, you'll be flying up there all the time. Since there's weather even up in that rarefied air, it'd be nice if there were a chart to depict it. And there is. It's called, logically enough, the High-Level Significant Weather Prognostic Chart. And as the name implies, it's a forecast chart for the higher altitudes. The High-Level Significant Weather Prognostic Chart gives you a forecast presentation of moderate to severe turbulence, tropopause heights, thunderstorms, and the location and speed of the jet stream, as well as a few other items. Now, the altitudes that chart covers are shown in millibars. As you can see in the legend in the corner, the chart begins at 400 millibars, which is 24,000 feet or flight level 240, and extends up to the 70 millibar level, which, believe it or not, is 63,000 feet or flight level 630. I haven't been up to that altitude in my Cessna Skyhawk in a long time. Take a look now at arrow A on the chart. And when you get to the area marked by arrow A, you'll see a rectangle with a 340 in it. That number tells you that the height of the tropopause in that area is 34,000 feet. You add 2 zeros to the number. And being the clever instrument pilot that you are, you'll remember that the tropopause is the boundary layer between the troposphere and the stratosphere. This is where the jet stream lives. Right below there, at arrow B, you'll see the same turbulence symbols that you saw on the low-level significant weather prognostic charts. The dashed line enclosing a mountain peak indicates an area of forecast moderate turbulence, and a mountain peak with an inverted V on it, kind of like a cap cloud, indicates severe turbulence. In this case, you have moderate to severe turbulence going up to 33,000 feet. Now, the X's below the line indicate that the base of the turbulence actually goes below the lowest level covered by the chart, which is 24,000 feet. Now, since there are no indications of clouds with this turbulence, it's called clear air turbulence, or CAT. Let's move to arrow D. These scalloped lines indicate cumulus clouds, and CB is the abbreviation for cumulonimbus clouds. The CBs, or cumulonimbus clouds, are isolated and embedded in other clouds, which means that if you're in those other clouds, you can't see the CBs. Not a good thing. The tops of the cumulonimbus clouds are 41,000 feet, and the bases extend below the lowest level covered by the chart. Now, you can tell the amount of sky coverage of the CBs by the descriptor. For instance, ISOL, the abbreviation for isolated, means that less than 1/8 of the area will have thunderstorms. At arrow F down below, the abbreviation OCNL stands for occasional and means that 1/8 to 4/8 of the area will have thunderstorm coverage. And at arrow E, echo, you see the abbreviation FRQ for frequent, meaning that 5/8 to 8/8 of the area should have thunderstorm coverage. Here's another version of the high-level significant weather prognostic chart. Among other things, this chart lets you know where the jet stream is and what it's doing. In the summer, by the way, you'll find the jet stream further north and weaker than it is in the winter. Looking just north of the U.S. in Canadian airspace, you'll see the jet stream depicted by this heavy black line. The beginning of the line indicates where the core wind speed is forecast to reach 80 knots. Now, these double hatch marks tell you that the jet stream is forecast to increase or decrease speed there by 20 knots. If you have closely spaced speed changes, you'll probably have a wind shear and a rough ride. So over here, the wind speed is 80 knots, increasing over here to 100 knots. Now, the maximum wind speed of the jet stream core is shown by the arrow along that line with pennants and feathers. The maximum core speed for this branch of the jet stream is 100 knots. You know it's 100 knots because the arrow has 2 pennants on it, and each pennant is worth 50 knots. Now, in this other branch of the jet stream just north of there, you'll find that the core wind speed is 130 knots. You can see 2 pennants at 50 knots each and 3 smaller tick marks, which are 10 knots each. You remember that the tropopause heights are shown by little rectangles with numbers in them like this. But sometimes there are significant peaks and valleys in the tropopause. You'll find these significant peaks and valleys in the tropopause depicted by a polygon, or how I like to think of it, as an upside-down doghouse or maybe home plate. And here in Kentucky, you can see that the tropopause has a significant valley down to 34,000 feet, while around it, the tropopause height is 39,000 feet. Now, as you move up from your Cessna Skyhawk into your citation, the information you get from this chart can be very helpful. Knowing the tropopause height and the location of the jet stream will help you fly in strong tailwinds and avoid strong headwinds. Good things to know when you're flying high and want to be flying fast.